Let's say you work in a federal job. You're either military and you're doing IT work, or maybe you're a state worker. Not maybe it's not even federal. You're in the public sector. Maybe you're a GS. You're a civil servant, military, whatever. Maybe you work for Canada, Canadian government, U.S. government, whatever government, right? What I want to do is talk to you about what are the differences between the public sector and the private sector, working for Google, working for a major telecommunication company, whatever the case may be. Because I got this question. It's a really good question. Somebody said, I want to go back to the private sector and secure a better position in information system security, preferably as a CISO or a directorate level, something like a C-level type thing. And he says, I need your advice, tips, and knowledge on how I can obtain a job like that. I have been away from the private sector for some time now, and I feel that working for the government has just made me dumber. I remember the last time I worked in a corporation was for IBM 2006. We employed a lot of technologies back then, but the Army technology is just obsolete. If you don't mind, email me with your... Okay, so this is a really good question, and this is actually a question I get quite often from people in the public sector working for a government, a state, or whatever, and they want to know, like, I want to go into the private sector like you. I want to, like, get out there and just, it just seems so fun and adventurous, and I want to learn new technology and all that kind of stuff. So there's some things that you should know first before you make that jump. Number one, the private sector, that's working for Google or a major telecommunication or Northrop Grumman or SAIC or Lockheed or one of these, private organizations, publicly traded, or it's private, not government or federal. One of the things you should know before you make the jump is that private industry is very cutthroat. It's sink or swim. If they lose the contract, there's no loyalty. They will cut you. They'll give you 30 days and you go get a job. If you're lucky, sometimes they'll just be like, boom, I'm sorry, we have no more work for you. It's just really cutthroat. Private industry is much harder. Like, federal government is hard to get into, but once you get in, like, you're pretty secure. Federal or state is pretty secure. Like, it's going to take a lot for them to fire you. And they have pretty great benefits. Federal and state have really good benefits. A friend of mine, I was in the military way back, before 9/11, before, like, in the 90s I was in. So I would have actually been retiring right now. A friend of mine, as a matter of fact, did like 20, just to give you an idea how old I am, 24 years, and he's about to retire, like, soon, like next 2 months from now, right? Could have retired two years ago, just like I could have, or 3 years ago, I think. Wow, time flies. But I decided to go into the private sector, and I've been able to do some pretty cool stuff. I know a lot of things. They pay more, way more. Private sector pays way more. But the benefits are they're not going to compare to the government in any capacity. From your medical to your dental to your helping your family out to retirement, it just it's not even close. Private sector is, like I said, it's volatile. It's a lot of the contracts don't last. And the biggest thing for me, the biggest drawback has been that there's no loyalty. Like, it's not like it was, 50 years ago, where they would keep an employee and then you could have a pension and retire and live off of that retirement. It's just not like that anymore. It's very cutthroat. They expect you to have all the loyalty, but they don't have any loyalty to you. It's hard, especially if you have a family. It's just brutal. There are some really good companies. Don't get me wrong. There are some really, really good large companies. So they're not all bad, but I don't know. I have not found one that's that's good and loyal to their employees yet. I'm just being honest with you. Public sector, before you make the jump, just realize it's not for the faint of heart. For the love of God, before you get out, especially if you're IT, Be prepared. Get yourself a bachelor's degree at least. At least. Have yourself at least a year of solid IT experience doing something, whether it's security compliance or help desk or servers or networking, just like a solid year, at least a year minimal. Get yourself a certification or two. Security Plus is what I would highly recommend if you're in security. If you're doing networking, focus on target one specific type of router, like either Juniper or Cisco. Those are the two leading ones, and then just do that and get a certification in that, whether it's the CCENT or whatever the entry level Juniper certification is. Make yourself marketable is what I'm saying. Get yourself experience, a degree, a certification, and then start looking before you get out, like 6 months to a year before you get out. Start looking at the market. Go online. Put your resume out. See what kind of thing. You don't have to, if people start contacting you, you don't have to take the job. You just see if your resume is looking good or not. See if people are actually looking at it. See if people are actually going to call you. And you can just say, no, I'm not in the market just yet. I was just kind of looking around. You don't have to quit the military or whatever, or get out of the federal government or state government and then go work from you. Just kind of putting feelers out there. So what I'm saying is, look before you leave. Just check it out, because the private sector is hard. Like especially if you're not marketable, I just want to warn, especially veterans out there. It's not like the military, man. It's not like, there's like a brotherhood in the military or federal government. Like, they try to really take care of you. You kind of take it for granted how many incentives and how many benefits and how many things are taken care of when you're in the military, or when you're in the federal government, or when you're state government or whatever. They really try to take care of. Now, they don't try, they do. They take care of you. Yes, there's bad things. Yes, you get deployed to all these bad locations. Yes, you might be away from your family more than you want to be. Yes, it's boring. Yes, there's no, like, the volatility is exciting, but at the same time, it's like, my family has to eat. Like, it's exciting, but like, when you can't pay your bills, like, that's how exciting you want it to be. You know what I'm saying? It's been pretty hard at times. I think what's helped me is that I'm just extremely marketable. If you check out my course, you'll see why. I've been doing this so long that I know, like, the keywords to use. I know, like, what skill sets are marketable. I've been willing to travel so I can get some level of experience. That really helped me out. I've been willing to take these sacrifices that allow me to learn and get certs and get degrees, and I'm willing to put in the time that it takes to learn certain things. And that's how you have to be. Like, you have to constantly be on your game and constantly be willing to take risks and stuff. If you're not that kind of person, if you're not like a risk taker, if you have a family, like, you really want to put that first. And I got out of the military and the federal government because I had to. Like, I was in a situation where I was getting deployed to war zones back to back. Okay, that's what happened. And I was like, man, I can't do this. Like, my kid needs me. Like, I had missed my daughter's first steps. I thought I was going to die. I went to Afghanistan, and I was like, man, I could really die here. Like, it dawned on me, hey, I could really die here. Have you ever had a I could really die moment? Has it ever dawned on you that you could die tomorrow? Like, I had that experience, and after that, I'm like, wow, what's the most important? I have to be with my daughter. I need to be there for her. Like, this is not worth, like, she's going to not have a father. I really couldn't deal with that, so I got out, and they kept trying to send me to. If I hadn't been sent to back-to-back war zones, I think that maybe it would have been different. Maybe I would have stayed in. It was way more stable. I actually liked the Air Force. I actually liked what I was doing. It was way different than being a cop in the Air Force, and I had to make a decision. So I don't know. I just wanted to speak directly to especially to the veterans, and tell them, like, man, look before you leap. Really think about it. You think about what's really important, and if I hope that helps you in your decision. And that's it. I'll see you guys on the next one.